So what happens in therapy? That's a good question, and it's a question that we've gotten. Now, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. So what actually happens in therapy? A lot of people have some general ideas, and unless you've been in therapy, you probably don't really know. But even if you've been in therapy, you should understand there are different approaches and styles and techniques that are involved in therapy. Now, one of the most common misconceptions that people have about therapy is that you're laying on a couch for 45 minutes and there is a doctor leaning back and taking notes and just writing everything down that you say and then asking questions about your mother. That is far from the truth, okay? That is not exactly what happens. Now, there are some therapeutic approaches that do that. Psychoanalytic is deeply into let's conversate and talk and communicate about what's going on and then try and piece it out. But there are different modalities and treatment expertises out there to deal with different disorders. And so what does therapy really look like and what happens when you go to therapy will depend a lot upon your therapist and what they're trained to do and what they're addressing. So therapists actually, when they go to school, they learn about a lot of different disorders and they learn a lot of different techniques that are recommended to use for those disorders. And so they're trained in that. Now, some of these trainings are very basic when you go to school, and then you later on, as you get your license, you can become certified in very specific modalities or specific treatments. You can get a certificate, which, you can increase the level and it teaches you more in depth of what you need to do. So what happens in therapy can be very, very different depending on what you're being treated for and what your therapist feels you need. Some therapy approaches, at least for me, in working with young people, did not involve us sitting in a room. Because children are active and they move around, we actually did a lot of moving around. We did a lot of experiential activities, and experiential activities involve creating an experience so they can reflect on the experience itself and then relate it back to what's happening in their life. So depending on the child, if there's a child who's very interested in sports, for example, we would go out and we would play basketball or play soccer during therapy. Now, in doing that, we would relate the game to what it is that they were struggling with and their end goal or trying to score or whatever it was that they were trying to do, and what were the obstacles along the way and what they needed to do along the way to reach that goal. And so for children, we worked on some of those things. We also worked on experiential things like helping them learn how to breathe instead of telling him what to do or telling the child how to breathe. We actually did it together. And so that's another part of integrating what it is they need to do, and then role playing, which is a skill you can see on the Smarter Parenting website. So there are different techniques and different things that you can use in therapy. So don't believe what Hollywood is selling you about therapy. It's not about sitting on a couch and talking about your feelings and about your mom. There are some approaches that do that, but the majority of therapists out there will adjust. There's recreational therapy, which is going out and doing recreational things, which have included rappelling, for example, overcoming some fear and anxiety, things like that. So a lot of different types of therapeutic approaches. Again, you have to ask and do your work on what type of therapist you are seeing and what they will provide, and if it's a good fit for you. There is a vlog that we created on how to choose a good therapist, which I would recommend you actually go back and review, and we will try and include that in a link at the end of this video. But that will help guide you on how to choose a good therapist. But again, what to expect when you go to therapy can be vastly different depending on the therapist and the approach and what it is you're being seen for. All right. So that's it from me this week. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment below. You can also contact us at smarterparenting@smarterparenting.com by email. We would love to answer questions that you have on parenting and also on mental health and how we can help strengthen families around the world. Don't forget to subscribe.